Hey everyone, welcome to Websleuths YouTube Live. My name is Trisha Griffith. I am delighted to tell you that I'm the manager of Websleuths.com, the very best true crime discussion forum in the universe. Also joining us tonight is Insightful One and of course our good friend, we love her, Megan Connor, host of Third_Verse on YouTube. How are you tonight, Megan?
I'm great. How are you guys doing?
We are great. And you've put out this video. We're going to get right down to it right now. You put out this video that a lot of people are talking about. And the title of it is Chad Daybell's Little White Book and the Church of the Firstborn. Now, let me remind everybody, when Chad Daybell gave his blessing to Alex Cox, he talked about the Church of the Firstborn. Am I remembering this correctly? Yes, so he did talk about it in the in this blessing that he gave Alex Cox. Remember, Alex Cox is basically the hitman for Lori Daybell, and he was up to here in all of the murders that have taken place, and he is the one that shot Charles Vallow. And he wasn't. I guess he wasn't feeling well. Was that what it was when they gave him the blessing, Megan?
No, it was really more like Chad wanted to tell him what his mission was and tell him that he had done a great job and tell him that his sins were forgiven and just basically get him to continue to be of service to these people.
To me, that blessing that he gave, it sounded like he wanted Alex Cox to die. Is kind of what I thought. Is that was I misunderstanding?
Yeah, I have to say, after listening to it, and I spoke with Kay and Larry just briefly after that first came out, and Larry said to me that blessing was that man's last rites.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. They were saying, "Okay, time for you to go now. You've done everything. Yeah, you've done everything here. We're done with you. Go. So the cops can't interview you and you can't turn on us. Yeah. So you need to go now." Yeah, I don't think for one second that this was natural causes in any way, shape, or form. And if you're just joining us and you're going, I don't know what's going on, it's the Chad Daybell, Lori Cox, Vallow, Ryan Daybell case where the two children, JJ and Riley, were found on Chad Daybell's property, and Tammy Daybell was murdered. Chad Daybell has been convicted of all three of those murders. He now is on death row. Lori Daybell has been convicted as well. She has 3 consecutive life sentences, but she is in Arizona now, waiting to stand trial for the murder of her husband. Yeah, they were still married, Charles Vallow. And that was the one where her brother, Alex Cox, said he killed Charles in self-defense. So Chad and Lori gave Alex this blessing. It's a Mormon church thing, and it's where they give a blessing. And if you hold the priesthood in the Mormon church, you can give blessings. Well, Chad bastardized the LDS church and just took what he wanted from it to create his own religion. And they gave this blessing to Alex Cox, and Alex died shortly after. Now, I saw the title of this, and Chad Daybell's Little White Book and the Church of the Firstborn. And that's when I went, oh my gosh, that is the blessing, Church of the Firstborn. That was, quote unquote, Chad's church, right? And was he the leader of the firstborn? That's the impression I got.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to untangle. From what I understand, and speaking to several people who are in this space, in the sort of culty Rexburg space, from what I understand, the Church of the Firstborn was more than just Chad, and Chad wasn't necessarily the leader of it, but he was a key figure in it.
Okay, so let's go to your video now, and this is just fascinating, and I need everybody to pay attention, because you got to pay attention or you're going to get lost here, because Megan has got some amazing information. So Church of the Firstborn and Chad's Little White Book. I'm going to be putting the link up to the video. Explain to us what this is all about and why it's such a, like, to me, like an oh wow, like, oh my God, I can't, there's more. There's so much more to this. What is the Little White Book and the Church of the Firstborn?
So there was a man who was somewhat of a recluse who claimed that he had, dreams and visions, and of course claimed that he had special connection to deity. And he wrote down all of his dreams and visions. He called himself the Archangel David, and he asked Chad to publish these dreams and visions into a book. And apparently there were 100 copies of this book that were published, and they were only given to select people who were said to have been like-minded people, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a couple of individuals who would go to the author of the book and say, hey, I think XYZ person is one of us, and they need a copy of the White Book. And so there was a person in Rexburg who was, he was called the Key Man.
Mm-hmm.
And Robert, who wrote the book, would call the Key Man and say, hey, so-and-so needs a copy of this book. Would you meet with them? And so the person would be told where to go to meet with the Key Man, and the Key Man would give them a copy of this book. The individuals that I spoke with, 3 different individuals that confirmed the existence of the White Book and confirmed that its contents were basically instructions for what needed to happen during the gathering of the 144,000. And this person indicated, the main person I spoke to, the first person I spoke to, indicated that once Chad published this book, he stopped talking about his near-death experiences, and he started talking about his role in gathering the 144,000. He said that the entire mood of the group shifted from preparing to gathering. And he said that everybody that he knew that received a copy of the book and started studying it, their lives started falling apart. They ran into health problems. There just seemed to be a darkness that came in this group as a result of reading the White Book and following what was written in it. It contained instructions on what you needed to do if you wanted to be a part of the gathering, and if you wanted to be a part of the people who were going to survive the calamities of the last days.
Right. And to bring this back around, this is the whole reason why Chad and Lori got together. This 144,000. Remember, Chad Daybell moved his family from Springville, I think, to Rexburg because he had a vision that I think it was in 2015, Salt Lake City in Utah would just be swallowed up by this earthquake. And there was only going to be 144,000 people that survived, and they were the chosen ones, and Chad was going to be their leader. All right. Now, when he met Lori, all of a sudden, hey, baby, we've been married in past lives, the best pickup line ever. And you're one of the chosen too. You're my goddess. Oh, well, these other people are in our way. Well, they're zombies. And the only way to cure zombies is to cast out the zombie and then kill them so they can go on the other side and be exalted and go to this heaven. Have I explained that correctly? That's the dummies book to Chad Daybell. I'm trying to explain here. Is that right, or am I misconstruing things?
Yeah, it's pretty much, that's pretty much accurate. Is that Chad and Lori used the book Visions of Glory to basically say that there are people who, if you've sinned or done something bad, then it's possible that evil spirits have inhabited your body, and we can tell whether you're light or dark. We can tell whether you're good or bad, and anyone who has an evil spirit needs to be eliminated. Chad said on the Avow website that there was something around between 30 and 40,000 zombies that already existed and needed to be eliminated. And he even talked with Christopher Perrett openly on the Avow website about, hey, Christopher, where should we position ourselves with our weapons to take these zombies out when they start overrunning the valley?
And again, this would be because there'd be some catastrophic event. But remember, 2015, there was no earthquake, and Chad uprooted his whole family based on this ridiculous vision that he had. He's just a con man, basically. And so now, and this just shocked me. I thought, okay, we've got it all now. Church of the Firstborn, yeah, that's what they were calling themselves, and 144,000. And, they used the zombie thing as an excuse to get rid of the people that were standing in their way, Charles Vallow, Tammy Daybell, and Lori's 2 kids. I noticed how none of Chad's kids were dark or zombie-like. They were perfect. So, and thank God, because they would have gone if they had in any way, shape, or form been a hindrance to Chad and Lori. So thank goodness they weren't. But then I see your video and I start to watch it and I'm like, oh my God, I got to get Megan on here. My head's going to explode. So tell us as much as you can, and we'll keep putting the link up because I want everybody to watch this video, but kind of give us the outline to understanding what we're walking into here, because it's absolutely fascinating. I'm so glad that you found this information out.
Yeah, it's fascinating and it's troubling. I mean, that
Very
was
troubling.
The whole reason for digging into these things is that I've always been concerned that there are more groups out there like Chad's group, and that Chad and Lori were kind of the tip of the iceberg, and that there were, more followers who kind of believed the same theology. And the more that I dig into it, the more I find that to be true. There are all of these little splinter groups that are mostly people who are disaffected with the mainstream Mormon church, or they are they're other Christians or other denominations who believe in the end times and who believe in prepperism, getting ready for the second coming, but they've taken it to a totally different level. And they've sort of invented their own theology. So just to kind of be concise about it, as concise as I can, is basically that the Little White Book was given to more than just Chad Daybell. Chad Daybell published it, but there were more people, obviously, who were given the White Book. That the White Book sort of contained a list of people who had been ordained into the Church of the Firstborn. It was a list of people who were gatherers or who were considered to be gatherers, and it contained instructions on what you had to do if you wanted to be included in the gathering, rather than basically mown over by all of the calamities that were going to happen.
Gathering being the 144,000 that survived whatever was going to happen. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay.
Right. That survived the calamities of the last days, basically. And it contained things like, dimensions of the sidewalks in the cities, of, what the saving city was supposed to look like. But it also contained things like saying that if you wanted to be a part of it, that you had to practice polygamy, that you had to make extreme sacrifices. And I asked these people specifically if it meant sacrificing children, and they were sort of mum on that. They didn't know exactly what the sacrifices were, but it just meant that they had to be willing to sacrifice everything that they possessed or everything that was dear to them if they really wanted to be a gatherer. And I think it's clear to everybody that Chad and Lori felt like they had to be free of spouses and children in order to fulfill their mission.
Right. We've had a couple of questions here. What is the title of the Little White Book? Is it called just the Little White Book? Does it have a title?
It doesn't have a title. As far as I know, it is a small white book that is leather. It has a leather cover, and on the front of the cover is a gold embossing of a temple. But from what I understand, it's not a Mormon temple like we're used to seeing. It was something more embellished and more sort of more grandiose than a Mormon temple.
Okay, so this Little White Book was written by Chad Daybell.
And no, it was written by a man named Robert Nye.
Oh, and he published it. Chad published it.
It, yes.
Right. Okay, so guys, I'm having trouble putting Megan's link up here. I'm going to put them up separately, and the title, I've been putting them together, and they keep running together, and I can't get them to stop. Okay, so Chad publishes this book, and in this book is basically the instructions on how you can be one of the 144,000, and that's basically it, right? And so you're looking in this, and you've talked to people that were part of this and now they're not, and you ask them about the killing of children and zombies. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because one of the points that one of these people made was that the book tells you that you have to be willing to make great sacrifices, big sacrifices. And when I pushed on about like what kind of sacrifices, what does this mean? The people that I talked to were a little reticent to say exactly what that was or to define it. And one of them specifically said, I don't know if that meant children. I hope that's not what it meant. And then we sort of moved on with the conversation. So, you know, it did specifically mention that you had to practice polygamy or be willing to, and you had to be willing to make sacrifices.
Okay. And what were, wait, insightful one, you have a question. Why don't you go ahead, my darling?
Yes, Red Like Wine again in chat. She'd asked, it's kind of off topic, but how do you think Chad decided people were dark or zombies, or what do you think?
Well, sort of the sort of rumor or the understanding that we have from putting all these different things together is that Chad found an owl necklace in the church one day when he was cleaning the church. And that's been corroborated by a couple of people, and that he used that owl necklace as sort of a pendulum, and he would ask the necklace questions. And some people believe that that's how he determined if someone was light and dark, that he would ask the owl necklace if they were light or dark, and depending on which way it swung, that's how he would make that determination.
That's horrible. Scooter has an interesting comment. Scooter says, I feel like all this stuff is happening right around me without my knowledge. Maybe I should be glad I don't know. So, Megan, if I could interpret what I think you're saying, and that is there are still people out there that believe in what Chad Daybell believed. And we are talking zombies. We're talking killing people so they can get the zombie out of them and go to the high heaven. There are people that, dare I say, still follow Chad Daybell, and we don't know how many. Am I correct?
Yes, and I don't know if it's specifically that they follow Chad, but they have some of these same ideas about the end times and about gathering the 144,000. And one of the things that I said on the response video that I posted today is that these stories all have this very familiar pattern. Somebody becomes disaffected with the mainstream church, whether it's the Mormon church or the Baptist church or the Catholic church or whatever, and they go out there seeking their own knowledge, their own information or whatever. And they all seem to have like this great revelation or this huge spiritual experience that they think gives them special connection to the divine. And then they think that God is telling them, you need to share this experience with everyone. You need to tell everyone this message. This is your new mission. And so they go out there and they start sharing this message about this huge spiritual experience they had, and they gain followers. And it always leads to asking for money, and it always leads to sex, and it always leads to super harmful groups with some wacko at the head of it who thinks that they're more special and important than other people.
And that they can have sex with kids as another part of it. Now, we haven't seen that yet here, but that's usually another part. You're right. They ask for money. Okay, that's a big thing. And they always have a leader that is super special and better than everybody. And they always end up harming people. You know, somehow their religion is about killing people that get in their way, like Chad and Lori did. And I'm glad that you're exposing this now. You say there was about 100 copies of this book made. Do we have any idea where those copies are?
Well, I know where at least 2 of them are. But, you know, understandably, people are reluctant to share them. People are reluctant to admit that they have them. People are reluctant to admit that they know of its existence. A lot of people will deny its existence and say it never existed. It was never published. It didn't exist, all this stuff. I've talked to enough people now that I 100% believe that it's out there. And I believe that it's probably got some really harmful teachings in it, just like Visions of Glory does. I think the hardest part is that when people think that they have a big secret that makes them special, like, ooh, I've got a copy of the White Book, they don't want to talk openly about it because
Mm-hmm.
they don't want it to be exposed. They don't want their power to be taken away. And so they try to keep it a secret as much as they possibly can. But if there, I know there's got to be somebody out there who has a copy that they're willing to share. I would love to expose it. Not that I want to read it publicly because I'm afraid that people would listen to it and like resonate with it and think, oh, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this is a great idea. But
Right.
just the fact that all of these things get done in secret so much, and these groups are so secretive, and they don't want their names out there, and they don't want people to know they're really a part of it. That's why they're so harmful in the first place. If you're a part of a group that is so secret that you can't tell people that you're a part of it, it's probably because they're teaching really harmful things. It's
Mm-hmm.
probably because they have really harmful practices. It's probably because the leader doesn't want to be exposed for being who they actually are.
Right.
And when I dug into, Phil Davis and the Doctrine of Christ and Jeffrey Bartholomew, and I watched some of the videos that are out there on YouTube with these two guys, they're just not good people. They're
Mm-hmm.
just not objectively. And they tried to tell me that they just had a scripture study group and that it wasn't harmful and that they don't really teach anything that's bad or wrong. But my question is, if what you're teaching is not harmful, then why do all of the people who have left your group call it a cult?
Exactly. And I want to stress something. I said something. There has been nothing to indicate that there are children being abused in a sexual way here. Not at all. I was talking in generalities. That's usually what happens. There's nothing to suggest that here. Although, Chad and Lori did kill 2 kids. So there is a danger. And these groups are very dangerous. And like you said, when these people leave, why do they say it's a cult? Why do they leave? They leave probably because they're scared and they realize it's dangerous.
Yes, and unfortunately, I mean, we don't have any proof in this case that there is child SA happening.
Right.
However, the reason why we don't hear very much about child SA is because it is so secretive and so hidden and so covered up. And as a survivor of child SA myself, I can say that there's no evidence. There's literally not a single shred of evidence about what I went through other than my own experiences, because people are really good at covering it up because they know they have to hide. They know that they have to do it in secret and to not tell anybody about it. And there's a lot of of course, incentive for them to be as secretive as they possibly can and to keep it covered up.
Exactly. Now, have you gotten any blowback that you want to talk about after you've posted this video, or would you rather not say, or if you've got any at all? I don't want to delve into anything that you don't want to talk about.
No, it's fine. Most of the comments and emails and everything that I receive are supportive, and also people wanting to come out and tell their own stories as well.
Mm-hmm.
The only really negative blowback that I got was from these 2 individuals that I named in the video, asking me to take it down because they were afraid their reputations were going to be hurt if they were associated with Chad Daybell. So I did read their statements on my channel. I think their statements are probably more harmful than they are good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that the video only has like 19,000 views. I told them it's like it's a tiny little section of the YouTube community. Like, it's not going to probably hurt their reputation at all.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted me to edit out their names, and I said I'm not going to spend my time to do that.
No.
But I did say that I'd read their statements, and I did, and that's pretty much the end of it as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, so again, this little white book and this whole thing with Chad and these people that you talk about, to me, this is very dangerous and very, very scary. Because when these guys, it's not always men, but usually, when these men get this power in their head, they think they have the right to do horrible things. And that's what's so frightening. So tell us a little bit more about your video, because I want people to go and watch it. We've been putting the link up the whole time in our chat here. So do you talk about how you found out about the little white book, and then do you go through, does it have an ending? Do we know what's going to happen next with this group? What is the deal?
Yeah, well, I mean, I wish I could say that I have a good conclusion and a neat little way to wrap it up and say that, the cops are onto it and, you know, these guys are going to get exposed. But unfortunately, I don't have any answers or conclusions. All I can say is that I got this information from an individual. I later was able to corroborate it with two other individuals, and other people that I've talked to about it have verified some of the information as being credible. And so I wanted to put it out there because I know that this is not the only group. And since I posted the video, I've gotten outreach from several other people wanting to expose several other groups. And
Mm-hmm.
so I know there are more than just this Church of the Firstborn out there. Some of these groups have splintered off and broken up, but you can't kill an idea. And when you have several hundred people who are like-minded, when their group breaks up, they're going to go look for another group that believes the same things again, and they're going to find another place that's a home to them. And so what I want to do is continue talking about these groups and exposing their beliefs and exposing their leaders so that they don't have any more corners to hide in, so that people are aware of it. Because I've talked to so many people who said, oh yeah, my neighbor left the Mormon church and then they immediately got involved with this other cult. And what I want to do is call attention to the fact that when you leave one group, you're really vulnerable to being scammed by another group. And
Mm-hmm.
it's so important to know that these people and these groups are out there to say their names, to say the names of the groups, to talk about what they believe and why it's harmful, so that more people don't fall victim to it.
Right. Um, can I just add, please be careful, because you're messing with their God,
Yeah.
and they think they have the right to do whatever they need to do because God gives them the right. So, I mean, really, I'm very serious, Megan. This worries me. I'm glad you're doing it. I admire you for doing it, but just promise me you'll be very careful.
I will be careful, and I do have my protections in place, which I won't talk about because
Good.
I don't want anybody to know how well protected I
Right.
am.
Good.
But the bottom line is that the more that I dig into these things, the more that I find that the leaders of these groups are cowardly men
Of
who are
course.
insecure, who are
Mm-hmm.
so scared, who are so afraid of leaving what little or losing what little influence that they do have, that any little pushback pushes them right over. Now, I know that there are more powerful people out there. I know that there are people out there who are dangerous. I'm very cognizant of that. And I'm very aware of the ways in which I need to protect myself. So I am taking great lengths and great measures to do that. And I appreciate you saying that. But what I think is important to understand is that the more and more I talk about this, the more people tell me to be careful, which tells me that it needs to be talked about.
Absolutely. I agree. And I admire
Suppose.
you for
Yep.
doing it. Glam Dolly has a question, and that is, Megan, are such cults typically male-dominated, patriarchal? Yeah, that word. Sorry,
It's it's
that one.
interesting because I mentioned this on the live that I just finished before I came over here, is that I don't know of very many female cult leaders. I know there are a few,
Mhm.
but a lot of it is it is male dominated. It just is. If there are female cult leaders out there that I don't know about, I would love to have attention called to it, because I know there are a few, but I think the
Very
most
few.
harmful ones have been male dominated. So
Mother God, I think, was one, and I
Yeah.
heard about her on Dr. Phil. I
yeah,
mean,
Oh,
that's
really?
yeah.
it. Yeah, that's it. That's the only one I've heard, or maybe it was
The
Oprah.
Chris.
I don't know.
Yeah, the
But
Christmas lights.
Christmas lights.
She was found dead and wrapped in Christmas
Oh, that's
lights.
right. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's her. Yeah, but Megan, you're right. These men, this is their little corner of the world with all their power. Look at Chad Daybell. My God, he went nuts with power. And again, he was able to convince people in his little group that it was okay to kill these kids. And
Yeah.
that's just what gets me. But I admire you greatly for doing this, because it does need to be brought out, and it won't be at all because people are terrified. So if there's anything we can do to help you, I will volunteer Insightful One. I'm not going to do it because I'm too scared. but insight will only protect you. No, I'm kidding. Anything
what I
you
think
need,
is
my dear.
great? Almost every time I come on here, one of your lovely channel members reach out to me to offer more help and more advice and more insight. I've gotten so much information from your channel
Oh,
members. So I'm
good.
really grateful for that. Your people are great. And so if there are people out there who know more about these little cults in Idaho and Utah, the Little White Book, or anything else, the Doctrine of Christ group, or there was another one whose name escapes me right now, but I probably shouldn't say it anyway until I do some more digging on it. But I know that there are people out there who have more information, and I am always very committed to protecting people who want to come forward but don't want to be identified. I don't tell the names of my sources, and I was pushed and pushed and pushed by these two dudes to tell me what evidence I had and who said what, and I just won't tell them. I will
Good.
not expose anybody who gives me information because I want it to be a safe place for people to tell me whatever they need to tell me without fear of retribution or exposure.
I want to say in chat, I'm not sure who's doing it, but knock it off. All right. People can believe what they want to believe, and don't start preaching, because that makes me crazy. Okay. If you don't like what people are saying or what we're saying, you're more than welcome to leave. We're not an airport. You don't need to make an announcement. You can just go bye-bye. Bye-bye. Okay, so I just want to remind everybody that, and we talk about this all the time, we have to stop creating these monsters. And these are one of the monsters. These men that, like you say, get this power, and they think they're magical, that they have this power from God, that they're able to, like I said, kill people, control people, marry more than one woman, and oh God, don't even get me started. But so Chad, he was the publisher of the Little White Book, only about 100 copies. You've obviously hit a nerve, because the men that you haven't mentioned them here, but that you mentioned them in your video, that this Little White Book is about, basically, and the beliefs, they're not happy with you at all. So you're hitting a nerve. What is that nerve? What are you telling that they're upset about?
It's people who are manipulative, and this is the whole thing that I started talking about with Lori's case. People who are manipulative hate it when they get exposed for being manipulative.
Right.
They want to continue to manipulate people in a vacuum where nobody knows that that's what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And all of these, look, the thing is, we're all the same. We are all genetically hardwired to need love and belonging and acceptance. Right. And these men who are heading up these cults are no different. They get their love and belonging and acceptance by manipulating people and by making themselves out to be more important than they are, and by claiming to have special gifts and special powers because they know that's going to get people to follow them. And so all it is just insecurity. It's just a need to feel validated, to feel special. And that's a need that we all have. But people who are mentally ill they do that in a way that's dysfunctional. Mm-hmm. Rather than just reaching out in healthy ways and saying, hey, I could use a friend, they try to manipulate people. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, well, okay, I want to talk about something else tonight. And we talked about it a little bit the last time you're on, and that is what you're doing now full time. And I think this is so wonderful. I want to start off by saying, because you are very clear on this, you are not a therapist. However, you have been through a lot of trauma in your life. You are Lori Cox's cousin. You know the family very well, knew them when you were a teenager. You have been through a lot of trauma in your life, and you are taking your pain and you're trying to help others. What is it that you do now?
Well, I'm basically a full-time podcaster and coach now. Mm-hmm. I've been coaching for about 2 years, but I was doing it just kind of part-time on the side. And I'm so happy that I'm able to have more time to do it now, because what I love more than anything else is connecting with individual people, listening to their stories, finding out where they're stuck in life, and plugging them into resources that can help them just be the best version of themselves. So I work with people that are doing everything from writing books to dealing with difficult family relationships to trying to tidy their homes. And I'm just really enjoying that more than anything else. All my coaching resources are on my website, and I always do a free little 15 to 20-minute call with somebody before I charge any money, just to make sure that I'm a good fit and to make sure that I can even help people in the first place. And I'm very open about saying, if somebody comes to me and I don't have the resources for them, I'm very open about saying, hey, I don't think that I'm the best fit for you, but here are some other people that you could contact. I've really enjoyed helping people just figure out what their next step is. And, especially people who are exiting high demand religion or recovering from trauma, those are the people that I resonate with the most.
And I have to say, I've been very traumatized. I haven't admitted this. I had a spider the size of the hood of my car try and kill me. Now, people say I'm exaggerating, but I'm not. It was this big. I swear to God, I'm still it's not that kind of trauma that you deal with. I'm just saying I'm traumatized too.
I still would be too.
Oh my God, it was the worst spider. No, I'm not. I'm certainly not. I think what you're doing is so amazing and so giving of you, because you're, like I said, you're taking all the pain in the world that you had and you're turning it into something positive for others. And like Shimmerlight said, you are so well-spoken and you are so kind and so generous with your time. So what is your website that we can put up here?
It's third-verse.com. So all my social media is third_verse, but my website is third-verse. And if you do /coaching, it'll take you to my coaching page. And then, all my social media, and my YouTube channel. And then my podcast is called The Midlife Revolution.
Okay. Can I ask how you started doing this? What got you into this point?
Well, as I was going through my healing from trauma, I decided that I wanted to write a book about my healing experience, because so many of the women that were in my therapy groups, I saw them sort of circling around the same issues and never really breaking out and healing and moving past it. And I know that the statistics are so not in favor of women who survive abusive situations for moving on and having healthy lives and happy lives afterwards. A lot of us end up drug addicted. A lot of us end up continuing to be in abusive relationships. And so I wanted to get my story out there so that other people who are trying to heal from trauma would know that it's possible to heal and move forward and have a healthy life. And as I was going through the process of getting my book published, a couple of people suggested to me that I should coach people who are going through trauma and help plug them into resources and therapy. So I started doing that a couple of years ago, and it's one of the most fulfilling things that I've ever engaged in, just being able to talk to people one-on-one about their stories. Because, you can write a book and put it out there. You never really know who it resonates with or if it helps people or not. But when you're talking with somebody one-on-one, you can get a little more specific about what they need and help them. And so it's just something that I've been passionate about and I've enjoyed. So.
And also, I want to stress too that, there are going to be people out there that go, well, yeah, I wasn't like beaten and, I didn't have that horrible abuse like other people. I should be okay. No. If you feel like you have trauma, you need to get over it. You have trauma, right? Yeah. It doesn't need to be this big, horrible, beaten till you're a bloody pulp type thing, right?
Yeah, people say that to me all the time. They'll say things like, "Oh, I haven't been through what you've been through, but I had this other little thing happen." It's not the trauma Olympics. We don't, nobody gets to say that my trauma was worse than your trauma for whatever reason.
Right.
What is at the core of trauma is not what happened to you. It's the negative beliefs that you developed about yourself because of the trauma that you went through. And this is one of the hardest things, is that emotional abuse and emotional neglect still leave wounds, even if they don't leave bruises or cut marks or scrapes that you can see. They leave these wounds, and if we don't heal those wounds, we end up relating to people in dysfunctional ways, because we don't know how to have authentic connections. And so all of us have unmet emotional needs. That means that we all have a wounding of some kind, because that's all trauma is. It's an emotional wound. And if we don't work on it and heal it, then we end up harming the people that we're closest to. And so I tell people, I don't think there's anybody in this life who gets to adulthood unscathed. We all have difficult circumstances that we went through that we need to learn how to process and think about in healthy ways. And so almost all of the people that I work with in coaching, if they're dealing with trauma, I also insist that they be in therapy treatment as well, because there are things that a therapist can do for people that I can't do. But sometimes people need help finding a therapist that's good for them, finding the right healing modality, or just realizing that maybe this therapist isn't helping me as much. So there are a lot of ways that I can help people as a coach that I couldn't help people as a therapist. And so that's why I chose this route.
Johnny Shepherd, I'm so sorry that your father said that to you. That's horrible. It's cruel and it's terrible. I do remember years ago, I was about 20 and I saw a therapist and I was telling him about my family. And then I said, I feel silly. And he wanted to do family therapy. And I can just think, oh my God, my dad. And I would never happen taking my dad to therapy. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. Or my mom. And he told me, he said, if you don't get this fixed, when you hit 40 or so, it's going to come crashing back. And he was absolutely right, And like you said, nobody gets, like Jim Morrison said, nobody gets out of here alive. Nobody gets out of here unscathed. And we need to recognize it, because, and I've always said this too, that, when we're little kids and all these things happen to us, our subconscious can't handle it. We do these mental gymnastics and it affects the way we make decisions and all kinds of things. And so, again, like people are saying in chat, it's not a contest about who has the most trauma or not. Recognize it and don't feel like you're not worthy of help, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And you probably see that a lot, right?
Yeah. I talk to a lot of people who, they say, oh, I don't really think I need therapy. It's just that my parents never paid any attention to me. I'm like, well, you probably do. It sometimes takes a person with an outside perspective to be able to help you understand what you went through was truly traumatic and dysfunctional. And I was fully close to 40 years old before I could admit that what I went through was abusive, because to me, it was normal. And to me, it was just what my family was. And I didn't have a frame of reference to understand how harmful it was.
Exactly right. And one of the best doctors that I've ever had in my life told me, and I've repeated this over and over, and I'll keep saying it, that it's difficult to treat trauma, but you can. But the most difficult type of trauma and abuse to treat are when children are ignored, and they're completely ignored. He said those are and so that means you may have everything you've ever wanted in your life. You can grow up rich and have all the food and clothing that you want and have friends and have a happy time. But, if you are ignored horribly, I mean, neglected as far as being ignored, it's neglectful. It can be very, very harmful. And again, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a doctor. I'm just going by what I was told, and I believe it. I guess you see that.
I see it all the time. I went through it myself. If you think that you were neglected as a child, I highly recommend Dr. Jonice Webb. She founded the concept of childhood emotional neglect. She writes a book called Running on Empty. And she talks about the symptoms that people who were neglected as children have. And it looks like not being able to name your emotions, not being able to recognize what you're feeling or why.
Right.
Knowing that things were not good as a child, but not understanding why, or not being able to, speak about it really in a way that makes sense to you. And when I realized that the reason that I couldn't name my emotions is because I wasn't allowed to have emotions as a child. I was told to be quiet, to stop crying, to go to my room. My parents couldn't process their own emotions, so they couldn't handle me being emotional. And so it's so prevalent among my generation to have had parents in their generation who couldn't deal with their own emotions. And it is a real problem that causes real harm to people. Until you can't process your emotions until you can name them. And if you
Right.
can't name them, it's because you were probably emotionally neglected.
Exactly. And again, I'd highly recommend that you seek professional help, because that's what you
Yes.
really, really need. Texas Roadrunner says, who has Chad's book? We're talking about the Little White Book. That's not Chad's book. It was written by somebody else. He published it. And Megan is looking for a copy of the Little White Book. Now, Chad's written a zillion books, and, I think they're still available somewhere, aren't they? I'm not going to
Yeah,
promote them.
I know two people who have them. They're not willing to share them. So if there is anybody who does have a copy, or who had a copy at one point, who knows, who would be willing to share it, I would love to do a complete detail of that book, just the way that we did Visions of Glory, because
Mhm.
we'll need to understand what's harmful about this book and why the ideas in it are toxic.
And why people are believing it and following it. That's
Yeah.
what's scary. That's what's really scary. But Chad
Yeah.
Daybell has written a lot of books. I'm assuming you can still get them. They're pretty bad. People have read them, and they're so bad that they're funny at times, but nothing funny about what Chad Daybell did. Does anybody have any questions for Megan? We've been putting up her website, and I'm going to put it up in chat again, and I'll put it in the description as well. And I would highly recommend you give her a call. So Lee T has a question here. I'm going to let you answer this, Megan. Is the Little White Book something to do with Ballard? I got here late.
I don't know if it has anything to do with Tim Ballard. I haven't found any connections to Tim Ballard through that book, although Visions of Glory, the person who wrote Visions of Glory was counseling Tim Ballard, and also did meet with Julie Rowe and Chad Daybell. We verified and corroborate that. Actually, it was Lauren Matthias at Hidden True Crime who verified that. So we know that Visions of Glory connects Jody Hildebrand and Tim Ballard and Maurice Harker and Chad and Lori and Julie Rowe. But the Little White Book, so far, I have not seen any connection to Tim Ballard in that.
Okay. Megan Connor, I can't thank you enough. Does anybody have any questions? Insightful One, jump in. Do you have any questions or anything else you would like to add? Insightful One.
Sorry, I was searching for
That's okay.
his books.
She dozed off.
She did. Oh, no, she did.
I had to get back over to this tab. No, I don't right now, but you know what you were saying earlier about how there's certain teachings in these groups or in these cults and stuff, they'll say like keep it secret, don't share it with other people.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a big red flag for anybody. For
Yes.
example, a lot of times if the cult leaders or cult members will say, don't share it with anybody because, they won't understand. And
Yep.
yeah, they think, we're doing something bad. And, that's kind of a red flag for anybody, I think.
Yeah,
It should be,
absolutely. That's a great. And we do thank you, Insightful One, that you're absolutely right on that. 2 questions from Just Gay's mom says, unrelated question. Did Megan compose and play the music at the beginning of her podcast?
I did.
That is so cool. God, you're so talented. You're amazing. Okay, and from Shimmer Lights, I'd like to ask Megan how she combats compassion fatigue. That's a great question. How do you not just go, I'm done, I can't take it anymore?
Yes.
I'm still figuring that one out. I a really good job of self-care. I do a really good job of limiting my schedule in ways where I schedule things in a way that I try not to schedule too much on the same day. And I don't ever schedule anything on a Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And I do my very best not to schedule anything on a Friday because I like to have those little bumpers. I like to have my Monday mornings for like really planning out the week and getting things settled and ready. But sometimes I get caught off guard, and when I gave 90 minutes of my Sunday morning to those two dudes yesterday, it drained me for the entire rest of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I do my best to not get fatigued and not get compassion fatigue, but I do get surprised sometimes by how much something drains me. So I just try to be really careful about those things and really good about self-care and really good about saying no. That's the number one thing that I learned,
Good. Good.
is to just say no when I have had enough, when I know I'm overscheduled, when I know I don't have time for things. I just say no. No is a complete sentence. I don't owe anybody an explanation. And if they ask me for an explanation, sometimes I say, you know what, I'm really sorry, but I have an appointment. And that's all I
Mm-hmm.
say. And sometimes it's an appointment at Nordstrom Rack to look at shoes.
Perfect. Perfect. One question here. This is a good one. Lynn Gen 2 says, my question I had was to do do you think Chad's sons are groomed to carry on? Emma and her husband seem totally into it. I feel like Emma's been groomed to do that. What do you think, Megan?
Well, I definitely think that Chad's children, I think he had to groom them to a certain extent in order to have their compliance or their understanding with what he was teaching.
Mm-hmm.
I think when Chad's your dad, he's your father figure, he's the patriarch of the family, you believe everything he says, because
Right.
none of us want to believe that our parents are fallible in any way. And it's always a shock to us when we find out that they are. And
Absolutely.
so, growing up in that household, I don't think any of them had a choice really but to believe everything that Chad taught and said. So whether they were groomed purposely or whether that was just the culture of the household, I think all of those kids emerged into adulthood with some really harmful ideas. And it's going to take a lot of, exposure to healthy family systems, exposure to mental health professionals to deprogram that kind of stuff. And living in Idaho, where the Mormon church is so prevalent, unfortunately, I don't think that it's likely that it's going to happen anytime soon.
Right. And it's up to you individually, personally, to do your best to take care of yourself. Take care of yourself first, because if you don't, you can't take care of anybody else. That's for sure.
I think Dr. Laura Schleisinger said, you can blame your parents until you're 25, which is basically just a way of saying that you were raised how you were raised and you can't help that. But once you are out on your own, it's your responsibility to take care of your side of the street.
Yeah, exactly. Megan, Connor, thank you so much for taking the time out tonight. And again, all of the links that we talked about tonight that we've been putting in chat, we'll put in the description as well. Be safe, and if we can help you with any way, you've got my number. I'm open 24/7. Call me.
Yeah, thank you guys for always being so generous and letting me, come on here and vent and rant and talk
You're
about
not
my stuff.
venting
I
or
appreciate
ranting. I vent and rant. That's what I do. You give out good advice. Yep. Thank you, Megan. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon, okay?
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Okay. Megan Connor, everybody.
Yeah.
You and I are thinking the same thing, aren't we?
Yeah, my head's just kind of spun right now.
Well, I'm worried about her.
Yeah, I know.
Very worried. Yeah, I think you are too, because it's like, these guys, I don't know who they are. I don't know who they are.
Right.
But if they feel threatened,
yep.
And this is their power, this is their, she's just, like she said, she takes great precautions. So I'm sure that she is well protected, but I'll kick anybody's butt that does anything.
Yeah, and the reason that we're concerned, of course, that's a normal human reaction to be concerned about somebody you care about.
Yes.
And we have seen dealing with cases and different things all these years
Mm-hmm.
in the media, reading about it too, that there are people that go after others for exposing their secrets.
Exactly.
It has nothing to do with anything else, you know.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Boy, Monica, that's a great question. I'm going to post this. Why always are there men with little power thinking they are super powerful? That's a good question. You're absolutely right. Absolutely. So, yeah, Candy Williams, everybody should watch Megan's latest video. I'll put it up right now. And it's called Chad Daybell's Little White Book and the Church of the Firstborn. So, if you have a copy of that little white book, Megan would certainly like to get in touch with you. Yeah, McSpunky.
Yeah,
Damn man.
I was just gonna type that.
Yeah. Damn man. So no, we love men. And it again, it is majority time it is men, but women do it too. We've seen it, believe me.
Oh, yeah.
Women and men can be just as horrible as the other. So that's all there is to it. So everybody just be careful. There was one other thing. Um, Rhonda Blackburn says, I think that people who are not smart, who think they are the most dangerous people on earth. Absolutely. Okay, I want to show you what I came home today. Now, it's a lizard, and I don't mind lizards. But I had an eye contact with this lizard, and I think it's trying to kill me. So I took a picture, and I want to show you. It just was sitting there looking at me like, I dare you. I dare you, Trish. Do anything.
It's
Try and
probably terrified, side-eyeing you like, oh shit, is she gonna get me?
No,
Oh,
no, no.
sorry.
Oh,
Sorry.
that's okay. You can swear. We're not monetized. Remember, we're not
Yeah,
monetized.
I just felt bad
So
right there.
we are not monetized. So go right ahead. Okay. So, and actually, this guy looks like he has maybe a little goofy thing on his back. But I had a radio on. I was listening to the radio, and I went to turn it off, and he's just sitting there. And he looked at me, and he said, "I am going to kill you, and while you sleep." And so he's going to kill me while I sleep. He is. And that's all there is to it. So I have to be very, 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 very careful.
Did you send the picture to Will?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He thought it was the coolest thing ever, of course.
See?
Well, so
I have to
cool.
agree with Will, probably. I
Yeah.
like lizards.
I like I said, it wasn't like a bug. If it had been a bug, I'd have been hysterical. So thank goodness it wasn't a bug. So hang on here.
Oh my God.
Who? Did he offer you oh, yes, he did. The lizard. He was. It was a gecko. How did you know? It was a gecko. Okay, here it is. That's too funny, Flying DJ. That's hilarious. Here we go. See him?
Okay, let me see. I gotta make this bigger.
Here's my little AM FM radio that I had cranked up.
And it looks like an alligator lizard. What'd Will say?
He didn't tell me. It's alligator lizard. I mean, why is it called alligator? Is that big fangs? What's the deal?
They kind of look like alligators, their bodies, but they're small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, he's got a big long tail, and he just sat there. He didn't move. In fact, I thought he was dead, and then when I came and sat down, because my radio was kind of over here in the corner, he's gone. So I hope he ran out when I opened the door to let the dogs in. But I don't, lizards are cool. They eat bugs, and I don't mind them at all, but I just don't want this one to touch me because I will absolutely have a heart attack, and that lizard will end up on the ceiling because I'll just go, wah! I'll just be splatted. So I don't know. Anybody take a look at that. Tell me what you think. Oh, by the way, this is our bird mascot. This is Old Red. My girlfriend got another picture of him today. I didn't put it up yet, but isn't he cute? That is so cute. He's
a card. Back?
He did. This isn't him coming back, but yes, he did come back. And she got another picture of him, but I didn't upload it. But yeah, he's coming back, hanging out. So that's our mascot, Old Red. Should we give this guy a name too?
The lizard?
Yeah. How about if we call him Chad? Oh, that's an insult. That's an insult to the lizard. Yeah. It's an insult. We'll think about it.
I'm going to send you a picture of an alligator lizard. By the way, alligator lizards bite.
No, do not.
When they're afraid.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to touch it.
Yeah, when they feel threatened.
Yeah.
And we get them here all the time. And I can't tell you how many times they've gotten in our house and in our neighbor's house, and our
Mm-hmm.
neighbor came over freaking out one day and asking my husband, "There's an alligator lizard in there. Can you get it? Can you get it?" It was so funny.
He knew
He
you
went
could
and
do
got
it.
it. Yeah.
You could do it. Chera says his name is Walter. Okay, I think I like that. Walter the
I do
lizard. That's good.
too.
That's
That's
good. That's very good. Or Lucky, Kathy Lynch. There's all kinds of names we could name him. So, anyway, there was one other thing.
spider muncher.
I don't know. Yes, lizards also eat spiders. That's why I like him.
Yes, they eat
That's why
bugs. They're
I
good.
like him.
Yeah.
Okay, I have got to tell you two things we're going to cover tomorrow night. I'm going to put this link up now so you can watch it. But Chad Eaton, geez, sorry. Nate Eaton, not Chad Eaton. Nate Eaton from Courtroom Insider and Meetin' the Eatons had Sheriff Ball and Chief Deputy Kaya Kamenu. And I know I butchered that. I am so sorry. But apparently this interview that he did, these are the two investigators on the Chad Daybell case, and it was incredibly compelling, very emotional. And so we'll talk about it tomorrow, and we'll play bits and pieces from it tomorrow night as well. So once again, Nate Eaton coming through with the great interviews. Also, we have another guest tomorrow night, my darling true crime angels. It is going to be Cheryl McCollum, because there has been a cold case that has been solved, and that cold case is, get ready here, Melissa Wolfenbarger. Now, that's a case that she's been on here talking about before, and they have solved it. So Cheryl McCollum will be on here tomorrow night talking about that as well. But I want to tell you about one more case. Oh, you guys, this makes me so mad.
I have to say,
Yes.
my maiden name is Barger.
Yeah.
So we say Barger, like Wolfenbarger.
Right.
Yeah, like that.
So is that what
Some
I
people
said,
say
or did I mispronounce?
Some people say Berger.
Barger. Okay, you're probably right.
It
Barger.
depends. Yeah.
Right. Okay, very good. Okay, I want to share this because this crime makes me so angry because it was so avoidable. So, oh, she did. L.A. What did she say? I'm assuming it was something nice because we love Kresha. I hope. I mean, I never know when I offend somebody. Hopefully, I didn't. No, we love Kresha. We love her.
Yeah.
So, okay, hang on. Johnny Shepard, nothing on Sebastian. Nope. Same old, same old, same old. Meaning just drama, but nothing to do with his disappearance. So hang on. And that snorting weird sound, that's my hug. Othram text Bug Nugget the first, making all those weird noises. Okay. This is what makes me so upset. This piece of garbage was released. He was released, and he ended up killing somebody. So hang on. I'm going to read you this story, just in case your blood pressure isn't high enough. And look, isn't he a charmer? Look at those lovely tattoos. Wouldn't you be just thrilled if your daughter brought him home? Good God almighty. Recently released felon wanted for carjacking murder in Santa Fe. He was captured 285 miles across New Mexico. A recently released felon wanted for the murder of an 83-year-old man. He was 83. Look how cute he is, his cute little grandpa. 83-year-old man in Santa Fe, in the Best Buy parking lot earlier this week, was captured on Saturday night after he and an accomplice robbed an Arby's restaurant. What a delight this man is.
Jeez.
Zachary Babbitts and the accomplice, a woman who has not been identified, carjacked a woman at gunpoint after the fast food restaurant robbery. KQRE reported this. Police found the vehicle a short distance away and then located Babbitts and took him into custody. His accomplice has not been located. Well, of course, he's going to have a woman that's going to stand beside him because, hey, you got to have a man, right? Honest to God, where is my blood pressure medicine? I'm just going to start putting it in an IV. What the hell? This guy was released, okay? He was a felon. He was released. God knows, I'm not even sure what his other record is, but I can't imagine it was, selling Girl Scout cookies and keeping the money. I'm sure it was pretty bad.
Stealing
And
Girl Scout cookies. Sorry.
yeah, and he could have been stealing them, which would be horrible. But I mean, look at this cute little old man, and he just killed
I
him.
know.
What a piece of
God.
garbage. And then he was with a woman because, like I said, you always got to have that man no matter what. Ugh. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I hate to say this, but I don't hate to say it. He killed the dude, but he looks like an idiot.
Oh, he does look like a complete
Looks
idiot.
like a total doofus.
He absolutely, I mean, look at those stupid tattoos. Total doofus, complete idiot. And this little old man's living out his life in the Best Buy parking lot. I'm thinking that's cool. He's in a Best Buy. He's going to get stuff at a computer store, and he's 83. Right on, Grandpa. That's cool.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh,
God, it makes me so mad. So
it
angry.
does. That's somebody's father, somebody's grandpa.
Mm-hmm.
That's so sad. Really.
Glam Belly says, gutless excuses for men like him always find a woman to prop him up. Totally spineless. Exactly. And Anne Franco, yes. Arrogance. Absolutely. Nasty, nasty, nasty guy. So, okay. Hi, I have a story. How are you? Good to see you, my darling. And I thought I saw Beth B here earlier. Hello, Beth B, my darling. And I know I'm going to miss a whole bunch of people. So I apologize. Emma Wilson, Glam Dolly, Periwinkle Moon, Red Like Wine Again, Lady Luck 0422, Glam Dolly, Lynn Gen 2, Monica is here, Lee T, Anne Franco, Shimmer Lights, Tip Knox, I have a story. Let me go up to the top here. And remember, we don't get to see the whole chat. It cuts off. So if I miss your name, it's because I don't see it. Rhonda Blackburn is here. Cheris is here. And Tiff Knox is here. Oh, Lee T. Lisa Willard. Hi there. Monica. Cherish. Ozzy Todd. Hi. Sorry. Ozzy Tad. I'm sorry. Mick Spunky. Marilyn Landis. Mick Spunky. He's such a smart aleck. When I was a young man, I had a little black book, but no use for it now. And then later he said, I deal with my trauma by drinking or something like that.
Yeah, it's a Gen X response.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Sarcasm and drinking. That's what we say.
Exactly. Periwinkle Moon. Let me get her email. It's on her website for Megan. You'll get it or?
Well, I was going to text her, but if it's on her website, I can look.
Yeah, I think it's on her website. Hold on. Okay. Let's see. TikTok, YouTube. Copyright this victory, this journey. She said it was on her website, I thought.
Okay.
Ask Megan. I'll tell you what. Here is one of those on her website. I'm going to put this in chat. That has a form where you can send her your email and ask her what you want to ask. Okay, that's the page. But oh no, I didn't. I have a story. Oh, she says, I figured Trisha didn't see my lizard name comment. I'm used to her ignoring me though. What was it? What did you want to name it? You tell me. I have a story. Trisha's here. I'm listening. Yeah, you know what, Periwinkle Moon? Go to this link, and on it, Megan has a form where you can give her your email, and then she'll email you back, okay? So, oh my God, Ron White. I call him.
Yep.
Salad. Yep. Okay, you know what? I apologize. I was going to name him whatever that other one was. No, we're calling him Tater Salad. Mm-hmm. If you don't know the Ron White story, look up comedian Ron White, Tater Salad. He had to come up with a cool sounding name because he was arrested, and, they had to get an alias for him. And he goes, call me Tater Salad. Oh God, it's so funny.
My dad loved him. Yeah.
Oh, he is the best. He is so hilarious. Okay. So I have a story. See, I didn't ignore you. The lizard's name is Tater Salad. There you go. I have a story. Won the internet today. Yes, you did. I have a story. You won the internet. So, and hang on here. I'm just going to do this one more time. I want to show you. Let's take a look at Tater Salad. Here's tater salad, everybody, right there.
Aw.
Isn't he cute? A little tater salad. Oh, just so cute. See, I don't mind. Like, lizards are great. They eat bugs. And I love the fact they eat bugs. Spiders are okay as long as they eat bugs, but don't come near me, spider. Don't come near me. There was one other thing I was going to show, and I can't remember now. Oh, well, now I don't want to go. Now it's like I have work I have to do, but I don't want to do it. So I just want to stay and chat with you guys. But I know our wonderful Ping has a live stream coming up. Well, Lee T, that's what I'm kind of worried about. He could become a tater salad for Boo. Actually, Boo's too lazy. Lilith might just go and throw him up just to see what he'd do. But yeah, Boo's way too lazy to do anything. So, oh my gosh, there's a subreddit called Spider Bro. No, I'd die. Marjorie Carthew, that lizard just showed up in my house. I went to turn down my radio and it was laying there looking at me, telecommunicating telepathically, saying, I'm going to kill you, Trisha. That carotid artery is mine. So there you go. There you go.
I got Megan's email.
Okay. Can you put it out there or no?
Yes.
Okay.
I asked her for people to contact her at, so.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, she knows what it's for.
Boo's a little lazy. Boo doesn't chase mice. Boo doesn't chase anything. Although he likes to pretend he's in the jungle out in my backyard, and the dogs chase him, and he'll run up the tree, and then he'll like run and hide under a bush, and then he'll look around, run and hide under another, and nothing's there chasing him. He's just pretending he's in the jungle. So paranoid? Me? No. They are after me. But I'm not paranoid. Okay. You know what? Later, Gators. See you, Johnny. Thanks for coming in, my dear. I gotta go because poor Ping is going, Trisha, shut up. I just don't want to go because then I have to do work and I don't want to do work. So let's see. I know tater salad is just too dang funny. And if they call his son Tater Tot, I mean, it's just telling you it's the best. He is so funny. Back in the day when you buy CDs to listen to comedians while you drove your car.
Yeah.
So, hi, Angela Conley. Good to see you. Anna Franco. Monica. I said hi to Beth B. I know I saw her here earlier. Dee Maynard. Susie B. Rhonda. Blackburn is here. Everybody. And Yuda. Hi, Yuda. Shimmer Lights, we love you. Red Like Wine again, we love you too. Okay, everybody, I got to run. I want to thank our wonderful mods, Leisha Gallegos, Four Sons Mom, Moonlight View, and Yuda from across the pond. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Insightful One, we couldn't do this without you. Remember, tomorrow night, everybody, it is going to be the one and only Cheryl McCullum. She is awesome. And she's going to talk about a cold case that has been solved. Yeehaw. All righty. Oh, God, I forgot the most important thing. Hang on, real quick, and then we'll go. I'm sorry. What's your name, Ping? I promise you, I'm hurrying. Hang on.
And that's something I was going to say. Speaking of tater tots,
yes,
some of us are real sensitive about our name because you go your whole life with people mispronouncing it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was worse in school because they'd call you Burger.
Oh no. Yeah.
So you get kind of sensitive over the name.
I don't blame you. Yeah, mine was always Arrington.
Yeah.
But Trisha Arrington. It's like, who the hell is Arrington? It's Arrington.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I like my married name much better.
Yeah. Griffith, much easier to pronounce. Chris, yours is much easier to pronounce too. So, LA, thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, that's what I was going to talk to everybody about here. All right. You notice that we do not have any advertising, or we don't ask you to get memberships and all that stuff. Well, that's because we are very, very lucky. So what we do ask in return is, if you can, please make a monthly donation to the wonderful people at DNAsolves.com, because what they're doing is they are working on all these unidentified bodies. They're taking DNA testing, and sometimes you get lucky. Yeah. and you can find the person just through a DNA test. But a lot of times they have to do this intense genealogy that they do. It's amazing what they do at the labs at Othram and DNA Solves. So the link that I just put up in chat, it is also pinned as well. If you could make a monthly donation of even just $5, and then you know what the scientists do? They take the money that's donated every month. This would be a monthly donation, and then they steer that money to where it's needed. All right. And so the most amazing thing is what you'll be doing is these families that have waited for God knows how long, they'll finally know what happened to their loved one. And that's because of you and your generosity. So if you could please, please, please make a monthly donation to DNA Solves. You subscribe to them, basically. And I just put the link in chat again, and I'll put it in the description. And we really do appreciate all that you donate. Thank you so much. And we understand if you can't donate, we get it. If you could just pass it along on your social media, it would really mean a lot to us. So thank you. Okay, everybody, I think that's it. Do I have anything else? Did I tell you anything else I needed to talk about?
No, that's what I was just thinking. No.
Let's see.
For today, just for rest of this week, but not for tonight.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, there's Cheryl tomorrow, and then after that I don't. Oh, next week, everybody, I'll be in Salt Lake City at my son's house. My girlfriend will be staying here with tater salad and the other animals. But I'll be at my son, and I'll be taking care of his lizard, his snake, his dog, his 8 trillion fish, because they're going on vacation. So their grandma's coming in to take care of the kids. So I'll be broadcasting starting Monday night from good old Salt Lake City. Oh, real quick, we also are getting another Salt Lake City, meetup again. Okay. Retired RN is getting in touch with all the ladies that met with us last time to get together. And if you want to join us, and I'll put this up in a community post as well. Just email me if you're in the Salt Lake City area, okay? And we'll let you know where we're going to meet and eat and talk about true crime and have everybody stare at us. We are going to meet again at the Sizzler in Sandy, and I'm not sure what day and time, but we'll get in touch with the people that were there last time. If you want to join us, just email me. And what?
We don't have Sizzler here anymore. They got rid of it years ago.
No.
I love
Oh my
salad bar.
God.
I'm so jealous. I want the salad bar.
Oh, their salad bar is the best. Yeah. Via Stupido was there. Yay. And you're going to join us again, right? Of course you are. Of course you are. So anyway, just be, if you went last time, you'll be getting an email, and we'd love to have you join us. Okay. 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 My lovelies. I need to rest. I just need to go rest and take my blood
Stay
pressure.
off the caffeine.
The caffeine and the drugs and all the other things I ingest. Okay, babies. We'll talk to you later, my darlings. Thank you for everything, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow night, 10:30 Eastern on Websleuths YouTube Live. Bye-bye.
Bye.